You need to set the example. And what I'm saying is, act like in everything that you do that there's always an audience. And the reason for that is that this is going to make you try to do your best in everything, because if you have an audience, you want to show out, right? You want to show out for the people that are watching you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because most time, a lot of you have people that look up to you and you don't even realize it. And it can be people that you don't even know. So everything that you do counts. It all affects your reputation in life, online, or whatever. So set the example. Be the better and bigger person. We all hear it all the time. But make sure that everything that you do, no matter where you're at, or whatever, ask yourself, is this leading a good example or is this leading a bad example? Would you want this for somebody or would you not want this for somebody? God is always watching. He has his eyes on everyone. So start acting like it. And I say this a lot because I personally believe in God a lot. I think he has a big impact on my life. But for some of you, you might not believe in him. And it's your own belief. Me personally, I believe. But even if you don't believe, still, just act like there's some type of audience, people or whatever, that look up to you. So every decision that you make counts. So start acting like it. And even if you don't care about what other people think, or what you don't care about being looked up to or whatever, do it to better yourself anyways. Really try to change the way you think. And I feel like this will definitely be like a different way of thinking that can maybe help you a lot more in life. And really anything that you do. Doesn't matter if it's an important task, doesn't matter if it's not. Act like there's an audience looking up to you, because most of the time there is. You could be out in public, and if somebody sees something, they don't even know you. It could be like a little kid or something, and depending on what you do, if they're paying attention, that could affect what they think is right and wrong. They could be learning from you and you don't even realize it. So, literally in everything that you do, act like there's an audience, because sometimes there is. Even if you're by yourself, ask yourself, is this something that I did or that I'm doing that's going to make people look up to me, or is this something that people would actually look down on me for, or am I leading a bad example? If you're going to set a good example and you want to be that leader or whatever, set a good example. Be the better and bigger person. Really, I mean, because if you go out in public, I guarantee somebody out of your entire life, whether it was a little kid or sometimes even elderly people or your age, people will look up to you, or they will pay attention to what you're doing. That's why I'm saying, really, just act like there's an audience watching you. Everything that you do, is this something that would be a good example or not? And obviously sometimes you're going to mess up. That's life. That's your person. You're not going to be perfect. You're not always going to set the good example. But it's better to have that mindset of trying than to not try at all. So, yeah. Is what you're doing with your time a good thing or a bad thing? Is this something that people are going to look up to, or is this something that people are going to look down on you for? You know? Think of it that way. And maybe that will help you a lot more in everything that you do. Maybe it'll make you more productive or whatever. It depends on how much you allow it to affect your life. Are you going to allow this way of thinking to affect it in a positive way? Or are you going to let it affect your life in a negative way? To where you're too, you overanalyze every little thing, right? You don't want to do that either. But no, set the example. Be the better person. Don't go with your emotion, go with your logic. Because that is what's going to get you far. If you are... Never mind, I'm not going to use that example. But anyways, back to the point. Set the example. Set the example. Be the better person. Strive for that 1% better each day, go for that. But I'm telling you, you probably have people, whether it's family, friends your age, or people at your work or school or whatever, that they'll pay attention to what you do each and every day. You don't even realize it. They walk past you, they act like they don't know you. But realistically, especially if you go to a small school like I did, people look up to you and you don't even, people you might not even know, but they know you. So, literally, this is something I could ask myself. The videos I'm making, even though it doesn't get a lot of traction, is this something that's going to lead me into a good example in case it does get a lot of traction, or is it something that's going to make me look bad? I don't know. In my opinion, I think it makes me look better. I'm trying to make you think in a more positive way about every aspect of your life. That's why I'm making these videos. Otherwise, there'd be no point in making them. But that's my whole push. That's my whole point to why I started it. And obviously, on top of that, it's fun to do. It's different. It's unique. I never really gave it a fair shot, so that's why I'm doing it. But no, I mean, really though, set the example. Use me as an example. Is these videos setting a good example for me, or is it setting a bad example for me? My personal opinion, I think I'm setting a good example, but maybe somebody disagrees. That's another thing. People are going to disagree about stuff. If you get hit by somebody, some people would say that you are leading a bad example by hitting them back. But then other people will say you're leading a good example because you're providing, self-defense. You're showing what you should do in that situation. So that's another thing you got to think about. But I think, ask yourself, and don't lie to yourself. Don't trick yourself into thinking about something that you don't actually believe. Really be honest with yourself and ask, is the thing I'm doing good or is it bad? Is it something that people are going to look up to me for, or is it going to look down on me for? And try to, limit the negative and promote the positive. Try to do that more. Anything, if it's a waste of time, it's not productive, ask yourself why are you even doing it? If it is productive and it's good and it's beneficial for you, then keep doing it. I mean, why would you stop? You're benefiting from it. Is what you're doing affecting someone's life in a negative way, or is what you're doing affecting someone's life in a positive way? Ask yourself that too. How are you affecting others? How are you affecting yourself? Set a good example for yourself. Set a good example for people. Set a good example for God or whatever religion that you believe in. Set a good example for any living creature ever to exist. I mean, I'm getting a little, out there, but basically the whole point is that you might not know that people look up to you as a leader or whatever, but I'm telling you, there's definitely, and it can be, like I said, it can be people you don't even know exist, but I'm telling you, somebody out there has looked at you and you might have changed their ways, whether it was the way, it's simple stuff too, like the way you dress when you go out in public. If you're really good, or if you're really good at styling or whatever, and the way you dress, maybe a haircut, maybe if you like good hair or whatever, maybe it was the way you talk to somebody, maybe it was the way that you were having fun with your friends or whatever, maybe it was the way you walk, simple stuff like that too, literally the way you walk. Some people do it all the time, they don't even realize it. Just the way somebody walks, the way that people carry themselves, people will use that as an influence to start carrying themselves in a different way too. So really, you can't sit there and be like, well, nobody looks up to me for anything. I'm telling you, somebody has noticed you and might have changed their ways for it or not. You're just never going to know. No one's ever going to come out and tell you. Unless you full on got them caught and you confront them about it, no one's going to tell you that. So go at it this is happening. Not saying develop a huge ego and that everybody cares about what you're doing. Most of the time they don't. But what I'm saying is that one person that might have noticed something about you, start acting like it. Set that good example. Keep setting that good example. And I mean, just see how you feel afterwards. If you feel good, keep doing it. If you don't, I guess stop. But I don't know why you feel bad for trying to set a good example for people, or yourself. But maybe you're that negative. I don't know. But I mean, that's all I really want to say. I mean, it's a pretty short one, but yeah, set the example, act like you have an audience, start being more productive with your time. You know, it's a gift that you're here. So just keep doing what you're doing, be more positive, and as always, life isn't too short to make a change.